Now that you know how to knit, it's time to learn how to do the purl stitch. Remember our blue garment we had in the last video, how it was really bumpy on both sides? Yet our brand new orange garment is nice and flat on one side and bumpy on the other. That's because I used the purl stitch. So this side is known as the knit side, and then the purl side is the side where it's bumpy. I like to think of it as being the side with the pearls on it, because pearls are round and bumpy, kind of. I know it's kind of dumb, but it's an easy way to remember it. So here, I'll show you how to do the purl stitch. The best way to know that you're on the purl side is because, well, you're on the side with all the bumps on it. So, you start by going pretty much, the purl stitch is the opposite of the knit stitch. So you take your right needle, you come at it from this angle, go into the loop. Instead of with the knit, you go like this and get the loop. With the purl, you come at it from the back and get the loop. The other big difference is the right needle is now on top of the left needle. All right, one more time. The purl comes from the back, and the right needle is over top of the left needle. Now you take your yarn attached to the yarn ball, bring it around this way, around the right needle, and again, you make it go between the needle points and pull it down. This time though, just like with the knit, you have to draw it through and create a new loop. I'll show you that again. You take your needle from the back, put it through the loop, take your yarn, go around, through the middle, and then pull your right needle down and bring the yarn through to make a brand new loop. And just like the knit stitch, you got to pull it off. All right. I find the best way to do it is kind of bring it back against the left needle and kind of pull it forward. And there you've got your loop. Take your lead off yarn that goes back to the ball, bring it through. So now you've got the loop with the lead off yarn between the needle points. Needle point takes the yarn, draws it through, and makes a new loop. All right. And once you've got it, best practice is to pull a little bit so you keep the tension the way you want it. All right. Now 7, 8, and 9, and 10. All right, so there you go. We've got a whole nother row, and it's nice and flat on this side and bumpy on this side. Alternatively, if you want your garment to be even more bumpy and more uniform on the other side, as opposed to our blue fellow over here, which is not as uniform, it's much more like lines, that's how you do it. Is you do knit purl, and then it's knit on one side, purl on the other side, so that when you have it on the outside, it's more uniform in the bumpy look. So, because our last row was purl, our current row is knit, which we all know how to do already. So I'll just go through that real quick. But it should be starting to make sense where basically the bumpy side should always be the side where the yarn is going around the needle. Or another way of thinking about it is where your right needle is. So if your bumpy side is the back, that's where your right needle is. Bumpy side at the front, that's where your right needle is. Alright, so one more time through, around the front, draw the loop through, around here, and then pull it off. All in one smooth motion. Around and through. Around and through. All right, and so there you go. That is how you do a purl stitch.